So I've been playing the Blue Protocol Star Residence beta now for 2 weeks, and I've been playing as a Shield Knight, and I have at least over 100 hours now on this beta. Granted, I also been playing the CN beta previously here, and I played the Marksman there. Now, this is going to be a little bit more discussion style, as this is just my inputs. Of course, some of this may be ranting, but I really want this game to do well, and I may not touch base on everything, so mention anything you think they should add as well down in the comments. Now, to kind of start off, I feel like the appearances for the varying colors of gear from green, blue, purple, orange, or legendary, in this case, should have different colors, at least for the weapons. Now, I know the gear has some varying colors depending on what you do get, but I remember from the Blue Protocol JP style, you would, as you go through it, you get better and better looking gear. There is paid gear. There is gear that you can get from farming dungeons, but I don't want it to just be that. I feel like as you get higher tier gear, like getting a legendary, and now it's like a blue and black shield versus just the base one. They took that out from the original Blue Protocol, and I hope they can put that back in. Then moving forward, just better the gear. I mean, of course, the gear does look good. I mean, I feel like they can add and do different things with that. Now, to kind of touch base on the next thing in regards to this is more endgame things to do to keep people playing this for months and months. Now, to kind of go over it, as of right now, we have the dungeons. So you have normal, hard, and difficult. And difficult will be unlocked at max level, and you can push all through the different ranks. You have Steam Vaults, as well as world bosses. And that's really it. Of course, I mean, you have your daily routine things that you need to do every single day, especially at the start, because making sure you hit all the different level caps and the time gating helps with that. But really, you know, with this coming for like the end game raid world boss crusade, it should be done, you know, at more times of the day as well on that. But I feel like the endgame raid world bosses should be able to, you know, like have multiple bosses in it. So I understand on CN right now they have more bosses, and it's kind of like single boss encounter fights. Now, if they could just have bigger raids, just like, let's say Maniforge Omega is out right now for WoW, they could do, you know, 1 boss, 2 boss, 3 boss, and then have actual different mechanics, and then you just run to them, even if it was instance. But it would be nice if it was all like just continual one thing. So there's raids. I understand in Blue Protocol original they had time trials. I have a feeling that they're going to already add that, so I'm not fully, you know, mad about that in that regards. And then another thing people have constantly brought up is PvP. PvP is a way to keep people playing every day. Now, a lot of people are saying that, of course, this is a PvE mobile game, and you can definitely see those attributes, but I already see that this is a lot farther to me along than Tower of Fantasy. And I love the anime style. I love the, you know, the whole art style, that kind of thing. So I think that they can really build off of that and make, you know, 3 boss raids, do the time trials, and add PvP. If they added all those, that would already create more things for people to do and to shoot for in that end game. Now, moving on in regards to this for alts. So this game is not really alt friendly. You have 3 slots. So you have your first initial and then 2 more. Now, it really comes down to you need to make a class that's intellect, agility, and strength. Outside of that, making another alt on one of those characters, you need a lot of different books to feed into, because your main requires the books, it requires all the bound Luno to spend on the abilities, and it is quite a farm. Now, I don't want to shy away from a farm, but it's just like, is that farm worth it to go do that other class? Because of course I'm used to FF14, where you can just have each individual class and then you just level it up through experience in that regard. And then tying into that, people have shown frustrations with how experience is, and that it's so, you know, pinpointed in on quests, and like like it's not distributed very well. I don't know if they can work on any of that or if there's anybody else out there that is having any issues with that. But I really want this to be more alt friendly. So maybe give a certain amount of books for free every week to help people with alts, so that, because granted, I'm playing the Shield Knight, I'm actually having fun with that one. But the thing is that if I wasn't having fun, I want to be able to play an alt so I could come back and be rejuvenated and play that. So there is that. So that also ties into the next thing here. All of my abilities are to be able to use. And then what's going on is I feel like this game offers a lot of good things, and I don't want them, I don't want the player to, suffer on some decisions and have to do A or B. Granted, there's player agency, people like that, Path of Exile, go play that instead. But WoW FF14, you're able to use every single one of your abilities. Now, of course, in BP Original, there was they added the blade system where you can switch between the different pages, and so you can do that. What I feel like they should do is at level 60, even if you have to wait till level 60, you are able to use the blade system, a keybind, switch between and use the other abilities and then switch back. I understand what comes into this is what everybody's worried about is that balance issues. Who cares? I want to be able to use all my abilities. I mean, I love animations. I love the skill animations. So I feel like I should be able to use all my abilities. I earned it. Let me go over in that regards. Now, onto the next thing here. That's all of what I wanted to touch base with, abilities, books, and stuff. Over time, I feel the reason we play MMOs and that what we want to do and be in is just see people, see that RP, be in town, and just really immerse ourselves. I understand from a latency issue and having all the different people, it can be an issue at launch, but over time, what they're going to have to do is less lines that exist for people like, let's say, in Astraleeds or even Salamzad down the way. I want to be able to see people everywhere. I do. I want there to be hundreds of people in town, and the only way we'll see that is if they lower the amount of lines there is in Astraleeds. Right now it goes up to 10, 12, somewhere around there. So if they're going to need to dynamically watch and monitor that to make sure that it fluctuates depending on how many people are there, because I want to see people. I'll be honest, I want every line to be full. And that's kind of where we're at, why we're talking about these different things here. So that's on that in regards to the line. The next thing here is people were talking about wills and wishes, and the will wish, basically. And this is Imagine Gotcha. And Cannon touched base about this in his video. I didn't get to watch it, but I've overheard it. And so if Cannon does watch this video, I will watch it eventually. But I don't overly mind it because the time gating throughout the story at the very beginning you can get that and it'll help you, but it's not going to astronomically help you. I didn't ever have a problem. It wasn't in difficult, I could see where it was make or break it, but I feel like they need to take it out because Western people absolutely hate pay to win across the board. So they need to take out the will wish so that this game thrives and people are like, oh, it's not pay to win, not as bad. The will wish, and of course you can convert Bound Luno. If they just address a little bit more of that time getting, I feel like people would be a little bit more happy in that regard. Now, next thing here is the auto combat. Now, only available out in the overworld map, not dungeon content. This I 100% agree with because when gotta say that these world bosses, they have millions and millions of health. So there's times I'm like, I gotta go to the restroom or I gotta go get some food. Auto combat on a world boss because whatever have you. But when you're in dungeons, normal, difficult, hard, yeah, it's off by default. They cannot press the button. That is huge, and I understand that. Now, because I brought up the world bosses as well, I feel like we need mobs health as well, so we can see how much that world boss has. PoE has it, WoW has it. There's so many games that are great that have, like, I want to know, like, what percentage did we get the boss down to before we died? Like, oh, we got it down to 10%. So if they could just add that, like, either health or even whatever, so you can, a percentage, that would be awesome as well in that regard. But yeah, again, auto combat only in the overworld map, not in dungeon content. Now, this is kind of a minor thing, but in regards to this is future zones have less loading screens. FF14 has it. I understand why they have it. Again, it's all retro to like referring to the fact that latency. We got to make sure that the servers run fine. I mean, WoW operated fine, just fine back then. I mean, I think they can do it, but they just chose not to because they're higher graphics. I don't know. But I feel like the future zones, I mean, we have the desert coming up. That's a big zone, and there will be less loading screens overall. But, to Salamza, it would just be nice and more immersive if I can go from, Erststein Greens to Salamzad without any loading screen in the future. And so I think that the loading screens are just, there is a lot because whenever you go from Astralides out to Asteria Plains, it takes out that immersion. And when I was doing a side quest in the underground district, I read every single one. And the amount of localization issues, I understand it takes a while to work on those, was a lot. And my brain just turned off doing the side stuff. So I'm only going to read the main story, but I feel like the localization issues need to be figured out. And also, I mean, I was reading book after a book and I was trying to keep at it. And then after that, I stopped reading any of the side story. I understand you have a lot to do to try to immerse it, but there was a lot of lines in there that didn't need to be there. And whatever. And then down the way, hopefully more voice acting will come through to be able to immerse me a little bit better. But it literally felt like I was just reading a book after a book after a book. And so all the other side quests, I just shut down and I just so I could keep up and make sure we can help people through dungeons or whatever and stuff, or for me to stay up to date with everybody, I had to skip through those. So that's my perspective in regards to all of the things that they would benefit to add, because all of these would, feed into each other to help make Blue Protocol Star Residence stay around not just for a year and shut down like other MMOs. I want it to be around for 5 to 10 years and be just saying, hey guys, we had a great experience, because the art style is absolutely amazing with this. Now, again, like I mentioned at the beginning, if you have anything to add or anything that was meaningful that you thought, of course, I didn't think of everything. I didn't. There's no possible way. There's more things that I know it would need adding, but those are my general frustrations and that I feel like would make it a better MMO and everything in that regard. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments of what you would add. Make sure you hit that like button. Sub for more Blue Protocol Star Resonance content, because I will be making more. And I will see you guys in the next video for Blue Protocol. Take care, guys.